Yo, wait a minute. What are the craziest fights on Paternity Court? What the fuck is this?
The Genesis G90, the first interior.
It's gonna happen if I allow it.
If
so
she
you might want to
allows it.
make some arrangements.
This is what I've had to deal with this whole
Oh,
time.
absolutely. Those are my children.
What
Please, you're a liar. I brought
Including
those children
phone
to
calls.
every single
Including
weekend. You
phone
need to
calls.
stop your lying.
Now, look at her. I'm done.
Thank you.
Mr. Lang, you and your mother, Ms. Lang, have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
But what about Miss Brown?
Now, Ms. Brown, you and your mother are also here today claiming there's absolutely no other possible father for your baby except Mr. Lang. And furthermore, you argue that neither of you can understand why the Langs are so distraught today because they haven't bothered to see the child in months.
So why did Miss Lang think that Miss Brown's child was not her son's?
Because I found out that Miss Brown slept with my son's best friend, from the sandbox best friend. And I don't think she know whether it's my son's or Mr. Dixon's.
Miss Brown denied the allegation and said this.
Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other, trying to find each other.
Let's now see what their relationship was like.
We was on and off for 2 years because he cheated on me every other day. I find out about more than 100 girls, I promise you. I went back and forth with so many girls, and it wasn't her house. She didn't lie about him, she didn't lie for him, and I find out she's lying for him.
Then an argument broke out.
Your mother lied for you, girlfriend.
No, I don't have no reason to lie for her.
Knock it off.
I don't have no reason to lie for her.
Got a reason you got
Okay,
one
let's
now.
get some more. Let's get some more.
Miss Brown claims she was not cheating. Unlike Mr.
You save big this home and auto bundle, Extravafesta Save-a-thon. Time to ring the savings bell.
Well, that's just about to get good.
Lang. And then this happened.
And it's none of your business.
Everything on the list, my business.
No, it's none of your business. Are you in the bed with him? Are you in the bed with him?
I don't need to.
Are you in the bed with him? So you need to mind your business.
I know my son the way you do, little girls.
All right.
I know my son.
Do you really?
Unlike you know your daughter, but.
Oh, no, I know my daughter.
Apparently you don't.
What you need to do is pop your...
They continued even after Judge Lauren ordered them to calm down.
Who the pappy? Whatever.
Who the pappy?
Whatever.
Who the pappy? My daughter.
Leave your son.
My
Your
daughter
son,
the
Mr. Lang.
Is my
Mr.
daughter
Lang.
the pappy?
Mr. Lang is the pappy.
My daughter be the pappy.
Mr. Lang is the pappy.
Girl. You know you like girls.
Was you in the bed?
Don't get me started.
Was you in the bed?
She always tried to call me.
Judge Lauren then said this.
I don't know if the kids are in a relationship or if the mothers are.
Word.
When Judge Lauren accused both mothers of being in the middle of Mr. Lang and Mrs. Brown's relationship, Ms. Collier said this.
No, I stayed out of the relationship. When they was going back and forth on
My mom was
on
never
Facebook,
in it.
I never got in it because
But she was always in it.
I was hoping that they would work it out.
Then another argument broke out.
That thing over there. That thing over there.
No, that thing
Every
over
time
there.
they got into
Ladies,
listen.
Too much.
After breaking up with Mr. Lang, Miss Brown found out about her pregnancy. But what happened after that?
I was at the doctor. I came home and I gave him the paper saying I was pregnant. And he kept the paper. He kept it with him. He even took it to school to show everybody, oh, I have a baby on the way. He was excited. He stayed with me through the whole entire pregnancy, birth and delivery. He was happy to have a baby.
Yes,
I wasn't sure about keeping a baby. I just started college. He begged me to keep the baby.
Back then, Mr. Lang didn't have any doubts. Then what made him change his mind?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his. I would see them in the car riding around together. I would see him walking to her house, to her apartment, while I'm like walking down the street, things like that. They had pictures together, hugged up.
Miss Brown denied the allegation once again and said this.
No, Your Honor, and I've never slept with him. Me and him was not even cool. When we even seen each other, we wouldn't say nothing to each other. We just look at each other. When we were cool, it was never like that. It was always a group of friends.
So why would he do that?
Because, like I said before, they were enemies. He was trying to make Mr. Lang mad.
but Miss Lang had an equal response.
What about when you guys were arguing in the kitchen? This is when you were showing, and there was no doubt she's my grandbaby. No doubt. I was happy. And I said, what's going on in here? What are you arguing about? But he said, she had sex with my best friend.
There were no doubts about the baby until Mr. Lang saw the baby's hair.
So he pulled it back. I said, Jimmy, let that go. The baby's just born. Maybe it's going to grow some hair in. Just knock it off. Just don't do that.
With everything that was going, Miss Brown had something more to say.
The whole 2 years we was in a relationship, every time we'd be on Facebook arguing anything, his mom would get on Facebook on her post and start getting into it every single time.
But Mr. Lang was doing one thing and saying another.
And then on another post you say,
Prime is more expensive than ever, but I just discovered a money-saving alternative. Are you still using Prime?
Yeah, that's my baby.
That's right.
So you're saying, no, this baby does look like me.
Yes.
But you also telling me in this courtroom that you had doubts.
Yes.
So what you were really doing on Facebook was just talking.
You can say that.
Okay.
Okay, this is really confusing. The only thing we can see happening is
Can we get
this.
to the text?
Don't sit there and put no lies in my mouth.
Okay, let's calm down.
And you didn't say nothing.
Let's calm down.
You didn't say nothing.
Ladies,
Don't sit there. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and allow her to lie on me like that. It wasn't no nigga.
Oh boy! So let's see the results be revealed.
Yes.
You are not the father.
Are you serious?
Ma'am, we have that kind of language in this courtroom.
That's a lie.
Oh
That
my
is a
God.
lie. I swear that's a lie.
DNA doesn't lie.
Baby. Oh.
Ms. Nazarene, you are here today to sue your ex-boyfriend,
Oh,
Mr. Rami, for being an absentee father and a deadbeat dad. You say he has caused you and your 2 children much pain and suffering by never stepping up as their father.
As for Mr. Ramey, this was his side of the petition.
Mr. Rami, you claim Ms. Nazarene has done immeasurable damage to your life and career by her very difficult personality.
So when and how did their relationship start going downhill?
Okay, our relationship began to sour when I became pregnant, and
Things had soured long before that. She's not the most easy person to deal with. There are definitely signs that were before she got pregnant.
What does Mr. Ramey mean by saying Miss Nazarene is not easy?
Complete irrationality.
Relaxation on.
The decision to be overtly angry, volatile, and violent for things that I consider to be less than important.
like rape.
Very verbally and physically abusive.
Miss Nazarene denied the accusation and said this.
He and I have had one incident where he stole $500 from me and had me and my baby in a car that had a steering column that fell. Okay, so for the time that we were together, we were artists, and I was young, he was young, and he was my best friend. We tried to reconcile. He never.
Further, she added saying,
to this day, he's not kept a job. This man has spent 17 and 15, almost 16 years ignoring his children while trying to pursue a rap career. Okay, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Not trying to pursue his GED, not trying to get a high school diploma, not trying to go to college. I put myself 90 hours, 90 units through college, raising 3 children on my own. I've always done it.
Mr. Ramey then said this.
The fact that we might have some children together and that we spend a short period of time enjoying each other's company. Outside of that, can't really co-sign anything else.
But what kind of support did Mr. Ramey give to the children?
Well, first of all, she decided to move to the other side of the country without talking.
He got children.
Have you provided steady support?
Well, it depends on what steady is. No, I haven't sent a check every 2 weeks. No, I haven't. But when I've had a job, I have sent help. Whenever she's hit me up and asked for money, if I was able to.
Miss Nazarene then interjected.
Hyundai Santa Fe versus Honda Passport. Hyundai Santa Fe.
Every once in a while, he sent $100. Yes, absolutely. Over the past 17 and 16 years, he paid child support when he was with his ex-second wife.
Was Mr. Ramey there for the children emotionally? Let's find out.
If she would have taken my children to Georgia from Los Angeles where we had them, I would have been there.
But Miss Nazarene had to get back
You
at
know
him.
it's called
What happened to me being
trains,
7 months pregnant with a
automobiles.
1-year-old and you were gone for 3 years?
That's when Mr. Ramey had this to say.
There was an incident. I was asked to bring the car to her because she had Messiah with her, can you bring the car to Tarzana from Los Angeles? I tell her, no problem. I would love to do that for you. So, actually, what's funny is I'll tell you this story because it's more recent.
Judge Lauren was getting irritated with Mr. Ramey's twisted story and went on to say this.
Just to give you an example of what I've had to deal with. My brother's oldest child and only son just died. He just turned 21, died on his birthday.
Miss Nazarene interjected again, and this time she was on fire.
You know, I had a $700 electric bill, and your son needed to go to summer school so that he could graduate on time. So I don't care about your brother's son. You don't care about your own son. Why would I care about your brother's son? Keep it 100. Keep it 100.
Ooh. But Mr. Ramey continues with his story.
So during this time, she sends a list of text messages saying that it's nice to know that we care about the dead.
Mr. Ramey then read all the text messages he presented as evidence.
We are sure happy to know your sorry, trifling family cares more about the dead than the living. And I will never forgive you, monsters. You will get exactly what you evil people deserve. I ain't downplaying.
I'm not.
You trying to make me lose my youth because you're a deadbeat. I'm ready to smash you, monsters.
Oh, wait. Looks like there's more.
Your family does not care about us because we're too black-skinned. You have to be a big, fat, yellow hoe to get love
and I mean it.
And care.
And that's the truth.
And she did.
Miss Nazarene admitted to sending all the texts. No emotion, right? Then she said this.
No, yes. They were not in what they were in response to. I had talked to him a week before that. I talked to him, and he told me that he was going to help me get my son in summer school, which my son has not been able to take summer school, and help me pay some bills.
When Judge Lauren pointed out Miss Nazarene's rudeness, she started to argue.
At least sometimes present yourself as a person that somebody would want to be around.
Okay,
I mean, you're a beautiful lady, and I'm keeping it real with you. There is no way you can send a text message about somebody burying someone that's a child.
But it didn't end there.
You accuse them of caring more about a dead child than a living child.
They care about all of those children because they're
unnecessary. That was an unnecessary comparison.
Finally, Mr. Ramey gave the reason why the relationship didn't work, but not without making Judge Lauren frustrated.
I was taking the car out to Tarzana. I mean, even if you look at this,
I wish this car would go somewhere. What happened?
I would like to finish, but I don't get interrupted on the road.
He further added,
so when I take the car there, she wants to have a discussion with me. She wants to yell and argue with me.
Okay.
I'm not going through that anymore. So I tell her that I'm leaving. At this point, I'm living with my parents. Not quite sure.
You save big this home and auto bundle, Extravafesta Save-a-thon. Time to ring the savings bell.
Or how she heard my statement of I'm leaving, but she decided to punch me in the face.
Well, this just doesn't seem to end.
After she punched me in the face, the exact quote, I'll never forget it, which was, hit me.
He's a liar.
So basically, did the relationship turn toxic and abusive?
Yeah. He keeps on starting at bringing the bug back. The bug was freshly painted.
Oh gosh, is this car again?
I'm not talking about the car. Part of the fact is when I went out there, she beat me up and held me hostage.
He stole $500 from me, and we almost died in the car.
Anymore, I care about kids.
Mr. Ramey's laid-back attitude and Miss Nazarene's temper were both exhausting. But what was more exhausting was Miss Nazarene arguing with Judge Lauren.
So you are intelligent and you have children. You don't have to keep barking and barking. Everybody knows you take care. Raise your hand in this room.
Time for Mr. Ramey to receive some more lashings.
Those are my children, and I take care of them.
What I've had to deal with the whole time.
Oh, please, you're a liar.
Including phone calls.
Every other weekend. You need to stop your lying. I brought them to you every other weekend and brought food because you couldn't even feed them.
In the end, Judge Lauren was done, but Miss Nazarene was still ready to fight.
He might not be paying the money. He may not be doing the right thing. But Ms. Nazarene, there's more to being a father than just the money. If he just wants to see him and they want to see him.
He came to my home. He was in my home. He's had every address that I've ever lived at.
Can he see them tomorrow?
Can he see them tomorrow? He can see them tomorrow.
Will they ever find peace?
Ms. Moore, you say there is only one reason the defendant, Mr. Butler, has doubts he fathered your 1-year-old daughter, and that's because of his manipulating wife.
Yes, Your Honor.
But what about Mr. Butler?
Mr. Butler, you argue you've been told on multiple occasions by the plaintiff herself that you are not her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state that Ms. Moore has fabricated paternity claims in an effort to win you back.
Let's see how Mr. Butler is involved with the child.
His teeth are
If you're talking about diapers and wipes, that's it. That's not a father to me at all, period.
So, what are the doubts that Mr. Butler was having?
She told me I'm not the baby daddy.
So she told you that.
Right after that, Miss Moore said this.
One time was because he was harassing me, him and his so-called quote-unquote wife.
So how did the conversation happen?
She told me I'm not the dad. She told me I'm not the father.
Why would she tell you that?
The baby don't even look like me.
Then Mr. Butler's wife, Miss Harrison, said this.
Your Honor, on numerous times.
One time.
Numerous times.
One time.
That's a lie.
Just after that, an argument broke out between her and Miss Moore.
Harassment.
Really harassment?
Harassment.
I ain't never
You
harassed
and your
you a day.
so-called husband.
Whatever.
That part.
Your Honor,
that
I was
part.
getting my hair
that
done.
part.
Then Miss Harrison continued.
At one particular time when she was on the phone, he had her on speaker, and she told him, "You're not the dad. You don't have to do nothing for this baby."
Miss Harrison then handed the evidence of the text messages and said this.
She said her and her husband does a good job of taking care.
And he do.
No,
and he do.
That's a text
and he
that
do.
was sent
and he do.
to me.
He has been a much better father than Quincy.
So,
But why did they believe that Miss Moore was lying about paternity?
I believe that the conception dates are all wrong, because how can you tell somebody they pregnant in December, but you have the baby in July?
Then this happened.
Correction. I was 7.5 weeks, December 11th.
Okay, but you would not have had your baby. You would have not have had your baby.
But did I have
July.
sex with you?
No.
Did I have sex with you?
No, you didn't.
You're not a man. You're not a man. You're not a man. I
You
had
had
sex
sex
with you.
with him,
And you
but
know
I've been
damn well
messing
that's
with
your
him for
baby,
almost
period,
2
point
years.
blank. Do
Ladies.
you believe it? You.
Next up, why did Miss Harrison doubt the conception
Yo, these relationships is so draining. Like, this is so draining.
date?
Because if you told him in December that you were pregnant, your baby would have been born in September, because my daughter is September 22nd.
And so
She need to learn her math. Go back to school.
And
That's
so
what
hold
you
on,
need to
Ms.
do.
Moore.
Go back to
Ms. Moore.
school.
Really?
Moore.
Then Miss Moore explained why she believed what Miss Harrison said was wrong.
Because when I got pregnant, I had left. Quincy was doing so much cheating. I found his last two
Why he
babies
look
and
like-
my baby and his last baby is 2 weeks apart. I found that out. I found that out on his cell phone, and I found it out because he had his last girlfriend's EBT card. The baby looked just like Quincy. Now, if she can't do the math, that's her problem. She needs to sit down. December 11th, the doctor told me I was 7.5 weeks.
So that means November.
She further added,
July 26th. I had 2 dates, July 26th or August 5th. I had an
Okay, so a
emergency
week-
C-section on July 26th. Was Quincy anywhere to be around?
No.
No.
Tell me.
When he came with bags. When Quincy always come with bags. That's just
Tell
like
me.
the beginning of this month. Quincy came with bags.
wait, what did Miss Moore mean by Mr. Butler came with bags?
Right,
When
like,
Quincy come with bags, he
Ain't
thinks
he
he's got
married?
to stay. He's a leech. He is a leech, and his so-called wife told me that over the phone. It's always, if I call Quincy, it's always her. Her.
Then another argument broke out.
I don't care.
One.
But that doesn't make sense, though. I'm his baby mother, and I have to talk to him, not you. I didn't make no baby with you.
It don't matter.
And I
He's
keep
married to
saying
me.
that.
And the
saying
money
that.
comes from
And I
me.
keep saying, okay,
So
so
at
can
the
I
end
get
of
you
the
for
day-
child support then? Since he on SSI, can I get you for child support then?
Whatever you want to do, baby,
Exactly,
go for
and
it.
I'm finna do it.
Okay,
and I'm
go
finna
for
do
it.
it. And I need that.
Miss Moore's mother, Miss Gutter, told Mr. Butler about her pregnancy. And this is what Miss Gutter said.
You know, my daughter is pregnant. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, she's pregnant. And he says, well, I'm gonna be there for her. I'm gonna take care of her. I'm gonna take care of the baby. All of a sudden,
No, Your Honor.
there is no Quincy in sight no more.
Mr. Butler denied conversing with Miss Gutter and believed that Miss Moore was going around with another man. Time for Miss Harrison to speak up.
While me and Mr. Butler was in the midst of our relationship,
I wish somebody would get to the
one of
answer
his
to my
friends,
question.
one of his friends called him and told him that she had another man.
Yo, I love her. Yo, get to
No
the,
evidence.
Get to the point.
All right.
In the end, the results were announced.
You are her father.
Want to know exactly what's in your P.O. box without
That's all I
calling or
wanna
getting
know.
in the car? Wouldn't it be great if...
These motherfuckers be. Oh, that was it. Yo, that was it. Yo, these motherfuckers be tripping. Yo, stay off of Paternity Court, because I swear to God, I swear to God, if I see your ass up there, I'm laughing.